Here's a fun one. This is a good one. This is a great one here. Warner Brothers denied the trademark for a Harry Potter quote. Yeah, Warner Brothers, that's wrapped an entire multi-billion-dollar business around the Harry Potter franchise, turned JK Rowling herself into a billionaire and allowed her to absolutely boink up the canon. Well, it's her own canon, but still, she boinked it. Now they're denied a trademark for a Harry Potter quote. And I'm actually very happy about that, to be honest with you. The United States Patent and Trademark Office has to make a lot of close calls regarding the ownership of words or marks used to denote the source of a product or service. The denial of the request for Warner Brothers Entertainment to trademark the phrase, "I solemnly swear I'm up to no good," from the Harry Potter series does not appear to be such a close call. As first reported by The Blast, the company wanted to trademark the phrase to use it in various merchandising materials, which, incidentally, it already does. Securing the registered trademark protection, though, would give the company a legal cause of action against anyone else who uses the phrase on products without the permission of Warner Brothers. Now, this particular phrase, "I solemnly swear I'm up to no good," if it originated there, I could see why, they'd want to trademark it. Like, I could see JK Rowling trademarking that phrase because she's the one who invented it. But Warner Brothers, I mean, they own the film rights to it, but they don't own the book rights. So again, that's one of those weird situations where I feel like if it was JK Rowling doing it, it would be a different story. But because Warner's is up to it and they want to use it as a way to legally block anybody else, the trademark office, I think, is being a little bit making a good call here. I do. We see this kind of copyright trolling, trademark trolling. It happened a couple of years ago in the creepypasta community. I think it's still somewhat going on to an extent where people who did not create the term creepypasta trademarked it. One person for written, another person for video. And then there was a legal battle that or at least there was a legal battle between like one person criticizing the guy who owned it from the written perspective. That guy was contacting me, sending me, like, showing me the lawyer letters that this dude was sending him. It was crazy. It was crazy. I think the situation's been relatively handled at this point in time. But yeah, trademark trolling is a realistic thing, and it definitely is something that's not good. Now, the huge problem with this trademark request, however, comes from the fundamental purpose of the trademark, which is to inform consumers as to the source of goods in question. The Harry Potter film series, of course, is based on the books by JK Rowling, who has nothing to do with the trademark application. Exactly, that's the whole point. Under PTO's reasoning, then, granting a trademark to Warner Brothers would falsely suggest a connection with the author. Well, I mean, the two are pretty much synced. They have been since the first movie released in November 2001. We're coming up on 18 years since the first movie came out, which is so weird to think about, but it's true. 18 years. What was it? Number 3 was that where the Azkaban was 2004. I want to say 2003, 2004 for that one. And, it was 2003. It was 2003 for that one. And yeah, this Warner Brothers trying to overstep their legal bounds. Now, the PTO also ruled that the phrase is merely an informational slogan for which trademark protection is not available. The phrase in question is a commonplace term, message, or expression widely used by a variety of sources that merely conveys an ordinary, familiar, well-recognized concept or sentiment. Kind of like when Donald Trump tried to file a trademark on "you're fired," and he was turned down because it's a commonly used phrase. Again, people like to get to get ahead of themselves. The PTO claims that consumers are accustomed to seeing this term or expression commonly used in everyday speech by many different sources, which means that they could not take it as a mark that identifies Warner Brothers as the source of the goods associated with it. In any event, just from basic fairness standpoint, the idea that if the trademark had been granted, Warner Brothers would have been able to sue Rowling herself for its use of trademark or merchandise. Now, that's just no good. Well, that's true. And here's the thing when it comes to trademark, they would have had to. I'm not even kidding you. They would have actually legitimately legally had to, because you have to protect it or you use it. You do. So that's one of the reasons why you hear about certain companies suing other companies for something that seems relatively benign. because there might be an overlap on the trademark. It's a very weird thing. Our trademark office, our whole copyright law is crazy in this country, but that's a realistic aspect of it. That's a realistic thing. So that's one of the reasons why I was kind of cracking up with the story overall, was mostly because I thought it was kind of ridiculous. But if they would have had to have sued JK Rowling, I think fans would have maybe gotten behind Warner Brothers on this one, if anything, just to punish her for the constant canon changing and being absolutely annoying with everything else that she does.